All right, and we're gonna get started right now. And we're live, Mookie. Thank you for being on here. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I got a lot of questions ever since I did the training with you. I think in Willow Springs. What was it, like 2 months ago?
Yeah, about that.
How often? First of all, how often do you train? Do you train people?
Shoot, I got something coming up this weekend. So as often as I can, what I mean, that's one of the things I like to do is to get back to the sport. But honestly, like, just to see the look on people's faces when they improve and stuff, that I just live for that. Literally, I live for that. So as often as I can. Right now, I'm averaging like every other weekend. Every other weekend, I have like a coaching thing to do.
Now, do you because the training that I did was to get my license.
Yes.
Now, are your trainings to get licensed or to improve? Or you cover all of it?
I cover all of it. All of it. You know what I mean? Because I'm a USMCA licensed instructor, and I'm also with I'm the licensed instructor with the person that gives out the licenses at the BRL, and then also I'm one of the instructors over there at Fast Track Riders. So I'm doing things all, giving licenses out. I'm, racing myself, and I'm always want to, help people improve. So I'm always available for that as well.
How'd you get into motorcycles, and how did you then become an instructor?
Well, I got into motorcycles because my dad, he wishes he can rewind time and never even get me into this, but I got into it because my dad was always into motorcycles from a young age, and naturally he kind of asked, try to get his son into it, but he never thought in a million years that I would take it and start racing with it. So that's why I said he wish he can take it back, because when he shows up to the races, he can't even watch. He walks away right at the start. When the flag goes green, he just walks off. He can't watch.
Now, what is so I went there because what do you call it? Moto Republic had one of those promotions where you pay X amount of money and it was a track date for pretty much everybody. And one of the guys, honestly, I don't know if he meant it to tell me or if he was just daring me, but he, like, when I rolled up, they were like, "Hey, bro, there's a class that just started right now. You should go upstairs and speak to Mookie and see if you can enroll and get your license." And it's weird because I've never talked to anybody about getting a license. It's kind of like something I had in the back of my mind, and I just went for it. And I interrupted your class. I think you were 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
And got in there and got on the track. I didn't even have a suit or nothing. I was not prepared.
Yeah.
And I just did it. And then I hit you up, and I was trying to get instructions on how to get a suit,
Yeah.
logos, branding. And you helped me out and pointed many directions for that. And you could talk about, what you offer and
yeah.
And, but then later on, I was like, fuck, wait a minute. I got to buy a certain bike to race, and I got to buy a fucking tracksuit, and
yeah.
there's a lot of, it's
lot.
intricate. Yeah. What are the steps? Is it difficult to become a racer, or is it easy? And what do you need?
Okay, there's several levels to it. It's not difficult to become a racer, but to become a good racer or a great racer, it is extremely difficult and extremely technical. But if you wanted to get into racing, for any of you guys out there that's listening right now, first thing I would do is literally just start going to track days. Because you don't want to jump in the deep end of the pool, just jumping, because there's some really fast people, and it's a lot more aggressive riding than track days. So if you go to show up to your first couple of track days and you're on level 1 and they move you to level 2, then you're starting on your way. From level 2 on up, that's where you find people who is dilly-dallying in racing, dipping their toe in the ocean. But then once you move up to level 3, now you're more to the front of a pack, and once you get used to people passing, or you passing people, because it's important to know how to pass and know the rules of the track, because it kind of transfers over from a track day into the racing world. So once you get used to all that and used to that, like I said, the passing and the speed of it all, then you can reach out and join. There's several race schools everywhere. You know, I mean, it's just what isn't just the one with that you did. You know, I also offer licenses at Wira, but Wira has stopped going on the West Coast. But there's other race organizations, and each one have their own licensing. You know what I mean? And once you get a license with one, they usually do a reciprocity where you can go to any organization and still race because you have a license through your particular organization. But that should be the progression. Start in track days, and when you get it good at that, and you can move on up through there and get to the highest level of that track day, then you're more prepared. You're more ready to go because it won't be such a surprise to you, everything that's happening on the track.
Now, would you recommend when you start off, certain class of when you start racing, 600, then go to
Oh,
1,000 and, because originally this was my mentality as I was doing your course. When you were doing the course or when I was taking your course, I was like, you know what? I got a few bikes. I have a street glide that I kind of ride on the weekends, but that's about it. That'd be a badass, bagger BRL.
yeah,
So I was like, fuck, maybe I can fix this up, get it set up. And then I was like, well, it's going to cost me another 20, 30 grand.
easy, if not more.
Easy, if not more.
Easy,
Well,
if not more.
I've put stuff into it,
Yeah,
obviously I'm X amount in, and to go more 30, 40 grand. And then
yes.
I started seeing accidents. I'm like, baggers don't crash that good.
Uh-uh.
They're pretty,
Pieces falling off everywhere.
they're pretty devastating how bad they, yeah. So then I started calculating that, and then I was like, oh man, this is getting more expensive. So then I said, well, let me focus on the Buells or the Dynas because they do, what's that other racing called? They have
Um,
baggers, and then they have,
yeah, they have
hooligan,
hooligans.
yeah, the
They
hooligan
got
race.
hooligans. There's quite a few different things you can do.
Yeah,
That's
so then I was like, "That's cool, buy another bike, fix that up, maybe that's 30 grand, but that's a whole whole 'nother bike."
yeah.
And then somebody's like, "Dude, just start off with a 600, buy a 600 and stay in the 600 category, build your way up." The 1,000 cc category is very competitive. Those guys are very professional. 600, they're just as professional, but you still have a lot of control. Um, do you agree with that? And
And now, actually, unfortunately, I don't. Um, my recommendation, and it can really build your racecraft and really learn how to do it. I would really start off with it. If you really somebody wanted to get into racing, I would start off with a 300. Like,
oh,
yeah, a 300, like a Ninja 300. Yes, that's outdated. Yes, they have a 400 out, but the 400s are a lot more expensive. But for a 300, you could probably get one already built up, race ready. You're not, what I mean, and they still have a class. There's still a class for them where you won't be subject to have to like deal with the 400s. But you probably get one for about 2,500 bucks, race ready. Like literally, it's safety wired, everything like that. And then there's less speed involved, so you learn to really maximize your brakes, learning how to use the brakes really well, learning the high corner speed. That's why little kids that they're doing Moto America, the little 400 class, and they move to the 600 class. Right off the bat, they hit the ground and they're running, and they're up towards the front of that super sport class in the 600. So honestly, I would do the 300, and when you really get good at that, what I mean, maybe even just do a half a season, or then you can sell it for what you paid for it. You know what I mean? Because you buy it for 2,500, sell it for 2,500. Or even
right.
if you have to let it go with 500 bucks, you don't race the half season. Sell it for 2,000, pay it forward, and you've only lost 500, and now you got a whole bunch of racecraft. Now you buy yourself a 400. With the 400, it has a lot more horsepower. There's a lot of things available right now. You can get them they can go from anywhere between like 5,500 on up to people selling them for 14,000. So, but like the 14,000, that's like top of the line. Everything is on it. But like that bike is incredible. Like literally, it's incredible. I have an R3 that I'm gonna put on the track this weekend. I'm gonna put it on the track this weekend and go fiddle around in the 300 class, mess around in the 300 class. But once you do that, now you're further developing now with a little bit more power, and then people go up the next class up is the twins class, and that's where you can find hooligan type stuff. If you want to go to that American muscle type, machinery and it's to get away from the Japanese. That's where it splits. You know what I mean? You can do a hooligan or you can do the soft tail, I think they call it. Well, they do something, you know what I mean? But you can get in that one, and that's not as powerful or as competitive as some of the other ones, but it's still a lot going
It's in
on.
its own
But
level.
yeah, but this, like I said, if you stick with the Japanese type stuff, you know, either SV 650s, they have the new Yamaha R7, those, and then you have that RS 660 by Aprilia. All those bikes have been incredible. Like, you know what I mean? And I rode a 660. I've been helping test um, the 660 with for a couple of my friends that have them, and they want to, and they're already racing them, but they want to like further develop the bike. So I've been helping them test and work out the geometry. That bike is almost as fast as the 600. Like they are like, it was a surprise to me. You know what I mean? So that would be the next up, and then because once you get to the 600, you talking about like Josh Heron and all the, and you know what I mean, and Rocco Landers, all these people. They have, you'll see them at the local tracks. Maybe not Josh Heron, but you'll see Rocco Landers that show up at CDMA or something. You know, working on their craft, and you know, M4 Suzuki. So you get thrown into the deep end real fast if you try to mess with a 600. There's a lot more power. You can get thrown off the bike a lot easier. You have to really know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Dialing in traction control, making sure your suspension is right. So I would literally recommend starting from 300, go 400, and then like 650, because the potential, you know, for you to get hurt it gets pretty high. As
Now, is it? Would you say riding a track is more dangerous than riding on the street, or would you say the opposite? Riding
I
the
would say riding on the street is incredibly dangerous. I'm so scared. I haven't ridden on the street since 2004. You know what I
yeah,
mean? The last time I got hit, as I was going through the air, I was thinking like, I'm never doing this again. Before I even hit the ground, I was like, I'm done. I'm not riding on the street anymore. I didn't race at that time, and that's what got me into racing. You know what I mean? So I went from falling in the ground, and I was like, that's it. I'm never gonna ride another motorcycle, to racing carts. You know, I'm bought go karts,
yeah.
and those things is, you know, insanely fast and stuff too. But then I got introduced into mini racing. Many people start with that. They like go to mini before the 300s. You can get like a CRF 150 or CRF 100, or they have like mini classes that race on kart tracks. And now you're talking about spending just, you know, a couple, you know, less than $1,000, like around $1,000 a year in tires, and that's it. Like it's a real cheap way to get into racing and get yourself set, have fun. Then you move to the big tracks, you know. So if you want to start from, because if you want to start from that level, there's a lot of top level pros out there. You've heard of Tiny Elias? He was a world champion racer. I won the Moto 2, the very first Moto 2 World Championship. He's out there all the time on these little kart tracks. So I have kart track bikes in the garage right now. I'm always training people at the kart tracks. So it's a great way to train. I don't care if you're Rossi. He's at the kart tracks all the time. All of his little VR46 camp, they're at the kart tracks training. You saw Mark Marquez when he was getting his shoulder fixed, his first ride back from the shoulder getting fixed. He was at a kart track. You know what I mean? So there's lots of ways to get into this race thing, but I would really learn your race craft. It's safer, and you'll be a lot better when you get into it. You know, you could just jump right in, buy a 1000, you just be in the back for a long time and be afraid
Oh
of
yeah,
your for a long time. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
best to work your way into it.
yeah. It's interesting because I've only been on the track. Shit, I've only been to the track a couple times.
Yeah.
The first time I was at the track was at Chuckwalla
Um,
when they did that Harley Davidson thing. So the BRL became a little bit more popular, and they were saying, "Hey, man, there's this event for Harley Davidsons to go out there." And when I went out there, like I fucking loved it, and I don't want to talk shit, but I killed it. And
yeah.
and then the second time was with you at Willow Springs,
Yeah.
and same thing, I was on a big ass GSA, you know,
Yep.
fucking bars and lights and everything, and again, I was like, "Man, like, this feels really, really good." I
Yeah.
mean, you made me I felt fast as fuck, and I was kinda like I don't want to talk shit, but I was killing everybody in that class. But you made me look like a fucking well, obviously your bikes and your experience.
Yeah.
But my point is that I like riding through traffic
Um,
fast. It's so technical. The way that I explain it is it's so technical riding through traffic that it makes me feel good. And when I
uh,
went on the track, I was like, oh man, okay, once I get these turns, like when you were explaining the turns and the fuck,
the
what's
way
the
you enter, yeah, the way you
way you
enter
enter, the way
turns,
you exit, the way you lean,
yeah.
getting used to your braking, getting used to what's the big word when you're coming in? Uh,
Besides entry, well,
yeah,
like trail breaking.
trail braking. When we got into all that technical stuff, I was like, fuck, if I figure this out, getting through people was technical. And I felt very comfortable at that. Now I just need to master the track. And that's
Mhm.
what you were teaching. I was like, dude, I really want to do this, you know? So
Yeah,
then I started thinking about, fuck, you got to buy the bike, you got to buy the gear, but then you got to buy a trailer or a truck. Then you got to buy more fucking gear. Like it really builds
it's
up.
a deep, deep, deep pull. That's why people are always looking for sponsorships all the time, including myself. I'm always looking for sponsors all the time.
And then how do you go about getting sponsors?
Just
Knock on doors and
well, that's the old school way to do it. But if you can, you know, you just talk to businesses. I mean, that's the best way to kind of say it. But most of the time, people go to places that are already into motorcycling, like Cycle Gear and, all the other places like the tire companies and stuff, because they want to have you win on their product,
yeah.
and we're just have their product out there. You don't even necessarily have to win. They want to represent. If you can present a great image of their product, that just gets their name out there and gets seen. So that's their, you have to be able to, make good,
Showboat.
make them believe that, okay, if I give you this, what can I get in return? Like, what I mean? Is it going to help my business at all? Or am I just giving away money? I could give that away to any bum on the street. So you want to like show them that, have some kind of resume and some kind of presentation you can give to them and be like, okay, with this amount, I can do this for you, And so
Now
that's the hard part.
now when you get these sponsors, how do you do this? Do you like get your own LLC and you're a brand and they're writing a check to the brand, or you take it as an
Yeah,
individual?
that would be best. You know what I mean? That would be the best. But when you get an LLC, of course, you have the taxes and stuff like that, and get more technical. But you can also do it under your own name as a sole proprietor. So there's several ways, depending how big you get. If you're getting a bunch of money in, yes, you definitely want to get the LLC. You know what I mean? And because it just protects you more.
Now, when you're actively racing, how often do you travel out of state?
I would say it depends on the series that I'm doing. You know what I mean? But I would say, about 4 or 5 times a year, because I have my 9 to 5 job doesn't allow me to. I would say it would allow me, but I don't want to take away from the kids. I work for, a school district, and so I don't want to take from the students. I mean, if I'm taking off every Thursday and Friday, the kids lose out. You know what I mean? They lose. If your
That's
teacher is
awesome.
not there and you have a substitute, it's definitely not the same, and it's not fair to them. They signed up for your class, to learn, and you keep disappearing. Of course, they're proud of you for doing what you do, and they get to watch you on TV if you're doing a Moto America.
That's my teacher.
Huh? Yes, I'm.
My teacher. That's my teacher.
Yeah, that's exactly. So they get all happy about that, but also I gotta look like, am I? I got into the industry because I wanted to help, not take away from kids, So
Yeah.
I try not to take days off as least amount possible.
And may I ask what your setup is when you do travel? Do you have like a pickup truck or a trailer or a camper?
Yeah. If it's a small local event or something where I'm just doing a practice or training somebody, I will be in a van. I have a van, and that's the best setup if anybody can get is a Sprinter van. You know what I mean? One of those high things because you can stand straight up in it. I have a regular van, and so I'm bent over, complaining and saying choice words as I'm trying to get it locked in. So get a Sprinter van. They're a lot more expensive, but you'll be happier. You know what I mean? I got a good price on my van, but I wish I had a Sprinter van. You know, but I do have a van and I have a 16-foot trailer. You know what I mean? Which fits as many bikes in as I need. You can put all your canopies and everything like that in it. So it's just a one big race setup. And when you get there, you put your canopies out, you know what I mean? And you want to make your pit look really good. You know what I mean? That's my thing, to make it look nice. I put the carpeting down and everything like that. So, because once again, for the sponsors, if they see that and you post some pictures, your pit looks nice and everybody else's doesn't, they're like, okay, well, I want to be a part of that.
I want to be represented right.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, man, I think I'm gonna regret talking to you, man, because it sounds exciting as hell. And then you usually show up a day before, you camp out,
Yeah.
or maybe even 2 days before, right?
You know,
what's the schedule?
My schedule is, I just noticed I only got 2%. Can I get a 30-second break real quick?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm gonna grab that charger real fast, man. I'm sorry.
No problem,
I apologize.
Man, he's gonna make me spend money, and I'm gonna want to get another bike, and then I'm gonna want a Sprinter van. Ah, I wonder if I should sell. Like, I wish there was more people online so I can ask, would it be worth selling bikes that I have and doing this? I don't know. Mookie's got me thinking a lot. I mean, a lot. Are you doing this at your computer?
Yep. At my, what do you call it? My iPad that I use at work.
Nice.
I'm using my work iPad because the camera's better on the little Apple stuff than the computer I use. So, as long as you have top quality. Perfect. All right. So back to it. What was your question? Did you ask again?
Nothing. As you were walking away, I was like, man, Mookie's going to get me in trouble because I'm going to want to be doing this. But my question
well, come along, man. I would encourage you to come and at least take a look at a race weekend and see what I do. You know what I mean? Come and hang out in the pit. Anybody, you know what I mean? I welcome all of you to come and check it out. You see a lot of great racing, especially this weekend is going to be like, you know, it's going to be some.
What's going on this weekend? What? Tell me the event, what you're doing, what people can expect, where they can see it, who's invited.
Yeah, well, everyone's invited. It's at Chuckwalla. I'm new at this series, the CVMA series. You can look it up, Chuckwalla Racing or CVMA Racing. You'll see from the 300s that I was talking about, some 300s. You'll see 400s, you'll see the 600 races, you'll see the twins class, you see 1000s, and you see some big names. If you never got a chance to go to a Moto America event before, quite a few of them would be out here because it's the off season for everybody, but they want to stay sharp. So you quite likely to see M4 Suzuki where some of the riders from. All right, they might not bring a truck, but you'll see them out in the 600s. You know what I mean? Super sport. And they're giving away big money out there, you know, so that's why everybody's doing it, to try to make a little bit, you know, to keep their programs going. But it's big fun. And it's, you know, if they even have these little huts out there where you can rent, you know, these little apartments, you know, and so you can stay for 2 days, just rent them. They're like $140 a night or something
like villas and stuff. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Sorry about that. That was weird. It happens. The more and more you do this, you're like, well, shit happens, you know, like power cuts out, batteries almost end.
Yeah.
Whatever. But okay, so here's my question. Let's say, well, first of all, we were talking about what's happening this week.
What's happening this week?
Who's invited? Who can go? How much is it? Is it free? Is it to the public? Is it tickets? And what people can expect?
Yeah, it's this weekend. It's on, well, practice is Friday, Saturday is racing, Sunday is racing. It's at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway out there in Desert Center. They call it Desert Center. It's just past Indio. It's out there.
Way down.
Yep, it's past Indio, past Coachella.
I feel like the next thing is like Mexico after that. Once you go there, it's
Yeah,
like,
I would.
that's Mexico.
Yeah,
That's what I feel. I'm, you know,
yeah. The next thing is Mars. You'll be
right.
good. Mars is the next.
Saturn, you know, yeah, it's far.
But and I think it's $10 to get in. You know what I mean? It's open. You can walk all through the pits and stuff like that because it's a even though you see pros there, it's a non-pro event. So like you can come in, you just pay to get in. That's it. You pay, you go, you enjoy it. You know, what I mean, you can go. You know, but like I said, it's in Desert Center. It's a place called Chuckwalla Valley Raceway. See, and then the race organization is CVMA. You'll see all the levels of right. You know, you'll see the 300s, 400s, the 650s, what they call the twins, and then you'll see the 600s, and you'll see 1000s. You know, so and you'll see some pretty dang fast people. You'll see some really good close racing. You know what I mean? It's exciting, and you can actually be really close, closer than you can in Moto America. Like you can get really right up on the wall, really close to it. So, and you'll be able to talk to people. You know what I mean? There's no red tape. Well, don't go in this area. So you can really talk to people and figure and talk to them about, okay, well, how did you get into this? Or what do you do? What is your preparation? You can just literally talk to the folks. You know, there's like if there's some slow people and there's some fast people. You know, you get a little bit of every level, and you know that's what got me going. I was like, I think I can do this. You know, first time I ever saw a race, I was in Georgia at Road Atlanta, and I was like, this is awesome. I think I can beat that dude though. You know, so from then on, I just started working towards it.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody. I had him on the podcast about he was racing, and I was like, "What do you like better, the street or the track?" He's like, "I don't have a motorcycle license. I've never even ridden on the street." I was like, "What?" And now you like since 2010, and I'm
2004.
2004,
I haven't ridden on the street since 2004.
and here I'm thinking like, oh, like 20 years. Like right now, look, check this out. On the Streak Light, I have 11,000 miles, and I
Uh-huh.
bought it 2 years ago, 2020. And then the BMW, I bought it in 2020, and that one has 27,000 miles. And I bought these bikes with 0 miles. So
Yeah,
just with those two bikes, I have, almost 40,000 miles in 2 years. Um, I haven't been on any trip. That's just LA traffic. That's just,
yeah.
San
Wow.
Diego, this traffic, 405, 101, splitting lanes, downtown LA.
Yeah,
And I'm like, man, this is a lot of fucking experience. Like I never thought about it like that until I went to the track and I was like, dude, this is a lot of fucking experience. Like I can visualize stuff on the track and I'm like, yeah, like I am kind of technical in a sense of like passing through and getting in between. And I'm talking about you saw the BMW. When
yeah,
I put the bags on, it is so wide.
yes.
And I gotta calculate between what cars am I gonna go through and the height
Hmm.
of people's rearview mirrors, and if I go at this angle and a truck and my handlebar like, I'm like, "Dude, I think I wanna go race," you
Yeah,
know? And it kinda goes with my podcast, Ride Boundless, like, I don't know, man.
yeah.
I don't know. You really fucked me up with your class, dude. You really
Well,
messed me up with that.
I have a bike you can borrow. I would love to have you down at Fast Track, the racetrack in Fontana. I'll let you use one of my bikes. You know what I mean? And just take my class down there. You'll have a lot of fun, and just to get your feet, get further into it. So like I would really like to have you down there. It'll be awesome to have you down there, and then invite some of the guests that are listening in now to go and watch watch it go down because they might want to do the same thing right after you.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, question. Let's say one of my bikes is paid off.
Uh,
Hypothetically say one of the bikes is paid off, and I came up to you, and we're bros. We're bros for like few years now, and I
mhm.
go, Mookie, I think I want to do this, man. You think it's worth me selling my bike and getting like a down payment on a Sprinter? You obviously you don't want to do it right. You know,
Yeah,
get a fucking Sprinter and maybe buy a 600 because I don't, 300, and then I don't want to upgrade in like 6 months and be like, oh my
yeah,
god, 'cause, that's usually what people happens with bikes. People buy a
yeah,
bike and within a few months, like, oh man, I outgrew it. I want ABS, I want traction control, whatever the case is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, would that make sense?
It
Of
would
course,
make
yes, yeah.
it would definitely make sense. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't sell and just start spending frivolously. I wouldn't do that. I would literally okay, calculate it, save some money on the side because you never know if your motor breaks down. That
Mm.
cost. So you need to have a little emergency fund on the side. You know what I mean? So get yourself a trailer. Like maybe you ain't. You know, what I mean, if you have it, because some people just got that kind of money. Well, hey, I'm gonna buy a Sprinter and buy a trailer with it. This if you got it like that, yes, it's a very nice investment. You can use it for other things. Once you buy a Sprinter, you be like, well, I'm gonna use it for this, use it for that as well. Because just like if you go and get a truck, because like a Raptor, next thing you know, you got a refrigerator in the back of that thing. I gotta, so it's multi-purpose. But like a Sprinter van is just incredible to me. I'm jealous of everybody who has one.
No, they're fucking incredible. But
Yeah.
the reason I know so much about the Sprinters is because I was looking at the camper ones. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, the Ride Boundless podcast can go ride boundless throughout the country, 1 month out of the year, and I could just do podcasts all over the place. That
Absolutely.
was one reason. Then now I'm like, oh, the racing thing. Well, there's another reason.
Mhm.
Camp in it, sleep in it, like I want to. Anyways, you're gonna make
I
me.
would follow you. I would follow your series, watching you doing your first race and go progress through it. That would be an interesting thing to watch you do. And I would like to be there, like helping you along, coaching. That would be awesome. That would be a great.
If I do it, you are.
Yeah, let's
Just for
do
the
it.
record, you will, and you are, and I hope you'll be available and help me
Yeah,
through that.
I'll stand behind you, man. I got it.
So if I said I wanted like a 600, which 600 would you recommend? Like, let's say, yeah, there's so many. Like, what would you recommend?
Yes, there is,
Like, if
but
I say I want something that looks dope, but
uh,
has, are they allowed to have ABS?
yeah, but you don't want it.
You don't want it. Oh yeah, because of the braking and the
Yeah,
trail.
you want to be able to brake as hard as you can. You know what I mean? And it stops and it pulsates. You know what I mean? You don't want that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you always,
So
if you buy a bike, yeah, you don't want that. If you want um, to get a bike with ABS, all you do is just take it off the first day. So it's best to buy it without it. You know?
Okay, so what's a good bike? So it probably makes sense to go used,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
go used, save a lot of money. Hopefully somebody that just fucking some rich kid that was like, I'm gonna get into racing, and his parents bought it, and then they're like, go kick
Yep.
ass. Buy that. How much is that? Are we talking?
If you want to, it can go between. It can start as low as like $5,500 on a 600, all the way up to like $20,000 or 25,000. But they have really good ones for sale right now. I was just looking at them before this podcast started. They're going for the best bike to me, in my opinion. And if you look at World Super Sport and American, the Moto America, every series, the Yamaha 600 always is like up there. They're letting Ducatis in there and they're letting Suzuki 750s in there, but everybody on that dang Yamaha is still doing well. And you can get them right now, fully ready. Everything, safety wired, rear sets, clip-ons, motor work, the body work, everything, all for about 15 grand. Like, what I mean? A really well,
Wow.
yeah, about 15,000. They was
New or used?
used. You don't want, if you
Yeah,
buy one brand new, you'll buy the bike at 20,000, but
yeah,
you're
strip
gonna
it.
put another 30,000 into it. You know what I mean? So you just want to buy one that's already done and already got the R&D. That's the main thing. Like you want somebody that was fast and so they know how to set the bike up. You should got a good starting point right there. So I would do that. And so best thing to do is get the Yamaha. They have the Cowie is a good strong motor. The NECA is definitely not, in my opinion, a better bike, but a lot of people have bought the Cowie because Chuck Graves has put out a lot of parts that makes the bike better and makes it handle better. So you can get a lot of Graves parts and put it on it and makes it a pretty dang good bike. I haven't really ridden it. I rode one quite a few years ago in stock trim and I liked it, but I never in a race trim. I gotta, but the Yamaha is proven to be a great bike. But I think all the bikes are good these days. I think literally all of them. The technology has gone crazy.
How much how much would you say it's I mean, I kind of know the answer to this, but let's see if you could put it in percentage perspective. Rider versus machine. You know, like how much is it? Like if I let's say I put you on an older 600 and you're badass, obviously, but I'm like on a fucking $40,000 Ducati or some sort of
Yeah.
spaceship with fucking insane power.
Nah, you'll get whooped.
I'm sure.
it's
Yeah,
it's it's all rider. I can fully on say,
I
even
agree.
though I raced out 100% done right 600, if you put Marquez on a 650, which is slower stock, he probably can give me a good run for my money. You know what I mean? If not beat me. So it's not in all of how much money you put in, because I with my little 300, I walk 1000s all day. All day I whoop them on the track, and there's nothing they can do about it. I have 34 horsepower. They have almost 200, and it's just like I'm bringing a little pencil to a gunfight, not even a knife, a pencil, and I still got you. I still whoop you, because it's all about rider skill, that know how to use the brakes, doing everything properly, understand why you're going fast. Some people go fast, but they hit a ceiling because they don't understand fully what's making them go that fast. What are they doing on the bike? Are they actually understanding what the tire is doing and reading what the suspension is doing while they're in there? That's track knowledge, setup knowledge. That's just, a lot of experience that pays forward, big dividends.
Yeah, that's something that I tell people a lot when on this podcast, where it's I strongly recommend when you ride on the streets, you ride aggressive, but don't go past your motorcycle's limits. You need to know the suspension, the braking power, the acceleration power, you know, uh, the distance, everything around you. You need to
Yeah.
pay attention to those details, and that's where you see a lot of accidents. It's just people went over their limit. They took a turn too hard, or they were going too fast on a main street, or whatever the case is. I've talked about this thousands of times,
Uh-huh.
hundreds of times. But, yeah, that technical is, it comes with experience, that's it.
Yeah.
The only thing you can recommend is, like, take more training classes and practice, 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 practice.
Yeah. Get out there and ride. Just get out and ride. I've seen people who've been 2 years ago were like, man, why are you even riding? To like now they're like big time. You know what I mean? They're podium in Moto America kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, man. So, and that's just, they just through repetition, through a lot of riding, a lot of coaching. You know what I mean? Coaching never hurts, So, and that, and in 2 years, like I said, they've gone from nothing to being somebody big. Somebody,
That coaching thing is interesting because people don't value how important coaches are, and
man.
everybody has a coach. Like,
Yeah.
the president of the United States has coaches,
6 of them. The
basketball players, tennis
president.
players, everybody has coaches.
Yeah.
Business people, they have a whole staff of coaches,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
and people get so stubborn, and I was one of them a few years ago where I was like, "I don't need no fucking coach, what are they gonna teach?"
Exactly.
It's so important and it's so valuable, you need that direction and
Yeah.
knowledge.
The thing is, people like look at the price tag on it, and that scares people away from getting coaching. If coaching was free, everybody, oh yeah, please coach me by all means. But the coaches, they have to realize if a coach like that you see typically a charge like $1,200 to $1,500 for the day. Okay, they'll they have to pay their way to get out there. They're risking their bike, they're risking their motor, they're risking, there's a lot of risk for them as well. So so it costs them to come out there to coach you. And they're trying to make a living from that. Like, So if you were making $100 a day, you ain't gonna make your house payment. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna go out here for free. Well, now I just wasted $200, $300 in gas trying to get to you. I wasted another $250 to paying to get into the track day to be with you. You know what I mean? I done burnt my tires off my bike, which is about $450. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
food, water,
Exactly.
time. You haven't even charged for
Yep.
time yet. You're just talking about actual
Exactly.
cost.
So
Yeah.
people got to realize when you hire a coach to come out, and they were like, "Oh well, it's $1,200." You're like, "What? No way!" Well, you got to consider how much they're really going to walk away with, maybe $250, $300 for the day. You know what I mean?
So obviously you do coaching. Do you
Yeah,
do like, for example, like online coaching? Like you say, you know what, I'll coach you. We'll go over the basics. I charge X amount for like an hour or two on a live conference call like this. Do you do stuff like that, or do you offer
I
options?
haven't, but that's a new avenue. That's something I never even thought about.
Yeah, you see.
So, but because you can do that. If somebody had like GoPro footage,
Yeah.
you could kind, you know what I mean? You can kind of go over it with them. So that is a way, but there's nothing better than
No, 100%.
yeah, on the job training. But you don't put the if somebody was in another country or something and they call you like, what
No,
kind?
fuck that. I'm talking about right now. Like $1,200. I can't afford that. I just spent
Exactly.
14 on a suit. I just spent this on the bike. I spent this.
Yep.
I should have accounted for that, but I didn't. So now, what are my options? Do you offer another choice? Nope.
Yeah.
It's $1,200. Oh fuck, man. Now I got to go on
Yeah.
YouTube. Now I got to go on YouTube.
Yeah.
But you could be like, well, if you subscribe for a small fee of $99 a month,
Yeah.
12-month requirement, you'll have access to these training videos. And dude, you got to start training videos, like the basics,
I will.
kind of like the stuff that you think about. Here, this is why we're having this conversation. Imagine you're going to spend money on your production, right?
Yes.
Maybe not, but you get your cameras, and basically, like when I took your course, you're going to have what you're teaching on the board, but you're
Yeah.
teaching that over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? So you make a nice, HD video explaining
Yeah.
that, and
Yeah.
now you say, look, I charge $1,200 if you want to spend the day with me. That's for me to get out, blah blah blah. But you gotta have a breakdown. I think when the way you're explaining it is awesome, but if you have a breakdown of what's going on,
Yeah.
people will appreciate it. The other option is you can subscribe to the videos, and I'll give you access, and you'll learn everything that you would learn in the classroom. And then for only $500, when you're
Yeah.
ready to come out, we'll just go over it'll be like a half day or
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
day, and you
Yeah.
knock stuff out, and
Yeah.
then people can go over those videos because, excuse me, there are so many things that I would love to revisit that
Yes.
you taught in the class.
Yes.
Like there's stuff when you were talking about apex and turning, and
Yeah.
like it's a whole day of class just
Yeah.
online, and then you could even do an online class and have pre-recorded videos.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
That's a great thing. What I mean, you're like making my wheels turn in my head. Like, maybe we can work together on something like that.
I was thinking, I like right now, I just launched my website, and I'm
Yeah.
starting to do that booking thing, where people can book because it puts it on the calendar and it's
Yeah.
sent
Yeah. Yeah.
out, and it's there's merchandise there, and I'm like, all right, I got this website down. Now I'm thinking, oh man, if I can make Mookie a website and then have the videos, and we do the online classes and
Yes.
no, man,
Man, I'm in there with you, man. I'm in there with you. That sounds good. Like, that's like excellent.
bring the
Excellent.
cameras. Fuck, man. You see, that's gonna be a whole. That's how I'm gonna pay to get into this racing.
There you go. Let the racing pay for it.
All right, racing. Okay, so let's say I bought the bike. I'm set up. I have my license. How easy is it to get into a race?
But once you do that, you can just look up the organization, say, because you came with the baggage. So let's talk about the BRL. You can just go online, you sign up. They check you if you have your license, and you pick the classes that your bike fits into. If you look at the CVMA site, it actually has it to where you click on what size bike you have, and it shows you all the different classes that bike fits in. I just saw that for the first time, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty interesting." So,
what site is that?
huh?
What's
CVMA, the CVMA racing website.
Okay.
I don't know the exact. It's like cvmaracing.com, something like that. But you can easily Google it and find it. But once you go on there, like I said, once you start registering, you register for the races that your bike fits in, and then when you get there, either you sign up for the track day before, so you can do your practices and stuff. And when you get there in the morning, if you don't do the practice day before, you'll get there in the morning. You always got to go through tech, just like if you're at a track day. You go in, you register, make sure you're registered. If you have to pay, you pay right then. You bring your bike over, make sure that the officials tech your bike, make sure everything is not leaking or everything is in the right place. You go back to your tire, pit, put your tire warmers and stuff on, and get ready to go. Usually they have a riders meeting at about an hour before they start the whole thing. So you'll go listen to how they do the flags, because sometime from time to time it'll be different. And they'll go over the race procedures. Okay, well, we have lights, or we just use a flagger. So you get all the little things there. They usually tell you about your grid sheets, and if they're going to be combining different races, to save time or whatever. But you show up, get your bike teched, go to the riders meeting, then you go out for practice. They'll have like a 1 to 2 practice sessions to get yourself warmed up for the races. You'll check the grids on the wall. They always have them posted, or sometimes they be digital, because that's happening more and more. It's all digital. You check where you're supposed to be. You go up and line up when it's your turn, and you're away you go.
That's dope. That's dope. I can't stop thinking about doing a collaboration on.
Yes, me too.
When you get a chance, play with my website a little bit.
Okay.
Like I just launched it. It's brand new, but like I think there's a lot of elements there that would help your business more than mine. Obviously I got to grow mine, but like, there's groups, so you can join the group via, and try joining the group. You'll see that you can join either by Facebook or Google, because not a lot of people don't have Facebook nowadays. You can have members. You can have merchandise, which you have your merchandise and you have your stuff that you work with.
Mm-hmm.
You have classes, online classes. You have streaming videos. Like you could just build this so well that once that's up and running, that's just fucking. It's just cha-ching, 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 and the value people are going to get it, and you're going to be able to provide your service at a more valuable rate to people.
Yeah,
where it's like,
and like even just people who didn't even know about it.
Right.
They can hear about it through the group, And so like, maybe even does something like this, you were like, okay, you log into the podcast and we're talking about braking, how to brake today. What's really going on when you're braking and stuff. And it'll just be recorded and it'll be on your site, like you said.
Are you active on social media?
Yeah, I am. I'm super old, as you can see, but so I still.
How old? May I ask how old you are?
I'm pretty up there, man.
You don't have to answer it,
No, I'm 48, man.
48? That's not super old. What do you mean that's super old?
Hey, what I mean? As a pro racer, yeah, you're a little long in the tooth, a lot long in the tooth, So, but as long as you still do well, because Josh Hayes, he won like 3-4 races this year, and he's like the same age,
Yeah.
So if you got it, you got it. If you don't, you don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I trust me. I know 1 or 2 people that've been racing forever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna win, man? Like, so the number one way of staying afloat and funding this is just sponsors, really, right?
Yeah, and just being careful. Be careful on your, what you spend. Don't overdo it. A lot of people, I'm gonna go and do 6 races this weekend, and you just like sinking your own ship for the next year. You'd be like, because at the end of the year, you'd be like, I've spent a lot of dang money, So
what other expenses? So you have the bike, you have the trailer, you have the gear, you're all set up. How much does it cost usually to do each race?
Typical is about, let's just say it's $100 per race.
Okay.
But just that $100 per race, it's not telling you the real truth. The real truth behind it is the $100 for that race. It's the $450 for that set of tires that you bought for that race. If you're running race fuel, it's the $50, just put in your gas tank for that little race. It's the right there alone, you're probably you're pushing $1,000 just for that race. Okay. So if you're doing 6 races for the weekend and you know, theoretically you would want to have new red tires for all of them, but you know, me, I don't have a lot of money like that, so I'll buy one set of tires for per day. Like, so if I race Saturday, unless I'm racing Moto America, then I have to, every time you go out, even if it's a 2-lap practice, you throw on a new set of tires. You're like, man. So your tire bill at the end of the a Moto America weekend is about between $2,000 and $3,500, $2,000 to about $3,500, depending on how you set.
Plus the travel and how much you spend
Yeah,
on the Sprinter
hotel,
van, monthly payment,
food.
and
Yes,
food, and
it's a lot because race field. And if you race for an organization like Moto America, you have spec fuel, and you have to buy that can of fuel. You know, have to use that percent. You can't get your own. You have to buy that can. You know what I mean? And so that's an added expense. That's like $250 for that can of gas. You know what I mean? And you need 2 of them. You won't use all of it, but you need 2 of them. But
so how do you sell the sponsor packages to your sponsor? You say, hey man, sponsor. You get like 5 companies, and you go, hey man, sponsor me for X amount. I'm gonna do 2 races this weekend.
uh,
But I'm gonna do 6 this weekend, so I'm gonna charge you more. Does it make a difference, or is it
no, they won't. They won't look at it like that. They'll like look at it as let's say I have a company. I've approached them, and they have a software company. Say if it's a software company, I'll be like, hey, you know, I mean, you're an up and coming company. You have a great product. Not a lot. You know, you're trying to figure out how to break in, get your more eyes on yours. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run a sticker on. You know, I mean, put stickers on my bike, put up stickers on the trailer. So you have instead of paying $50,000 for this billboard on the freeway that people drive by real fast and just miss it. You know what I mean? It's going to be a rolling billboard all through the whole year. You know what I mean? So, and then if you have an event, you know, I'll go and set up my canopies and I bring the bike and I'll do social media and say, hey, come on out, check us out. I'm gonna be at this location with this software company. And people like bikes, you know, kids might be following you or some adults might be following you. So they'd be like, okay, I'm gonna show up. Now they'd be like, oh, I didn't know you was with this software company. Now they're like wondering, well, what kind of software do they have? You know what I mean? So now people who haven't normally seen it, you know, are getting eyes on that company, you know what I mean? And oh shoot, I didn't know this is actually perfect what I need, you know. So now they're selling more product. If you go, I like
and you're a walking billboard because now you're learning about the product,
yes,
and you're promoting the product. Interesting.
constantly. And you know, so like I like to go to places like pizza places, like a pizza company, you know, say if Rob's Pizza, you know, okay, not a lot of people going there, but okay, now I'm gonna approach them like, look, you know, you sponsor me for X amount of money, or you know, buy a couple, you know, sets of tires for these 2 rounds. I'll go and set up, or I'll have all my meetings there at your place. So now, as people coming, you know, they'll be like, oh, we're gonna have a meeting here. You're gonna sell a bunch of pizzas because we're having a meeting there. So now people are like, this is good pizza. I didn't know. I'm gonna bring my family here. You know, when we're not having meetings, you know, so then it grows their business. So that's how you have to approach it. Well, that's how I approach it. That's my secret. I approach them showing, okay, this is what I can do for you. I'm not just gonna run a sticker on my bike because that's what everybody says. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I'm not talking mess about anybody else, but when people in World Super Sport, they have all those sponsor stickers all over their bike, and when they win, they say, I would like to thank all my sponsors. Okay, well, who are those sponsors? And what do you do? Even if you do, I would like to thank Alpine Stars. Okay, people, that's it. What did you do for them except just say, I want to thank Alpine Stars? Me, myself, I'll tell Alpine Stars, I'm going to show up, put a can up at a bike night, you know, at Cycle Gear, or a bike night at on the beach that they're having down there. I'm going to set up all my stuff, and I'm going to have all your Alpine Star stuff out there. So I'm not just saying, oh, I want to thank, you know, I mean, now more eyes are actually looking at it. So I'm going to race with it. I'm going to have my brand. I'm going to have your brand on my trailer. I'm going to have it on my suit logo. And anytime I do a race post, I would like to thank Alpine Stars for keeping me safe. You know what I mean? Whatever the company is. That's, you know, so you have to approach it that way. Tell them what you can do for them. It's the same thing with getting a real job. Let's say if you wanted to work for, you know, Walmart or something, they say, why should we hire you? You were like, well, this is what I've been doing, and this is what I think I can do for you guys. You know what I mean? It's not because I'm a good worker. Well, there's a bunch of good workers. You're not telling me what you can do for my company. So anybody listening and you're looking for a job, that's a best way to probably get ahead of everybody else is tell them what you feel like you can do for their company. You know what I mean? How can you make that
Bring
company better?
value. You
Yeah,
gotta bring value to
exactly.
yourself.
Exactly. You know,
And that value is you know,
yes,
'cause
yes.
you're like, "I'm the fastest boxer putter awayer." Well, it's like, there's a lot
Yeah,
of good boxer putter awayers, but, "Oh, I'm the most caring and
yeah.
alphabetical order box organizer." It's like, "Oh, that's"
Okay, that's different. You know, there you go.
you create a lot of value for your packages.
Exactly. So, that's how I suggest, people go for more sponsorships, and not just say, well, I'm gonna run a sticker on the bike. Tell them what you can do for them, show them that this is how much media coverage. If I do this, when I do this race, this how many eyes, because it'd be like 100,000 people watching, or, or there at the event, or there's 200,000 people watching per weekend on the app. And it shows all this, and so you were like, that's how many people can potentially see your product. You know what I mean? That's how many people can see that logo. So,
Interesting. Interesting. What is your social media? Where can people find you? Do you have a website? What's your handle?
okay. I'm normally on the old people Facebook, but it's at Mookie Wilkerson. Just look at the name that shows right there. Uh, I'm also have Instagram, but that's my race name, the Outlaw Racing Team. It's Outlaw Racing 2020. That's my Instagram. You can find me on. My promoters just launched TikTok. You know what I mean? Because I never had a TikTok before. They was like, let me do a TikTok on you. So they've been posting videos up of me, and I think it's pretty cool. But then you can find me under Outlaw Racing 136. That's my normal number. It's on the back of my jacket here. But my normal race number is 136. That's how I started. Um, but Moto America keeps switching my number every year. But
Bastards. Just
I wish
kidding.
I could say somebody stole my 36 this year, so whatever. I'll wait for it to come around again and try to snatch it back. But yeah, those are mostly where I am. I don't have a Twitter, but I do. Like I say, again, it's on Facebook. It's just Mookie Wilkerson. You know what I mean? And, on Instagram, it's Outlaw Racing 2020, and on TikTok, it's Outlaw Racing 136. It's my number.
Mookie, thank you very much. I'm gonna stop this. We got a good hour.
Okay.
I have to edit it with the other one, which is not a big deal. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you explaining all this. I look forward to having you back on the podcast.
Yeah.
I hope this brings fans and more interest into the motorcycle world.
I
Uh,
hope so too.
yeah,
I
so
hope this starts our little team. I want to be here, help
yeah,
you get started, and we just record the whole thing of you growing into a pro racer.
yeah, that'd be fucking amazing. Yeah, no, exactly, and that's why I was gonna say I was gonna end this, but let's stay on the line because
Okay.
that's interesting. That's it.
Okay.
All right,
Well,
we're
thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
not a problem. Okay, I'm happy we figured it out.